The stars were bright over the small planet called Varian. On the edge of the galaxy, Varian was quiet and peaceful. Few ships came close, but tonight, something strange was happening. A single human ship landed in the fields outside the city. Its engines made the grass glow and shake. When the dust cleared, a young man named Lucas stepped out of the ship. He was tall and had brown hair and kind eyes. He looked around, feeling nervous and excited at the same time. Lucas had come to Varian for a reason. He was not a soldier or a famous explorer. He was just a simple medic. His job was to help people, no matter where they came from. On Earth, he worked in a small hospital. One day, he got a message that changed everything. The message was from an alien king. The king was begging for help. His daughter was hurt, and no one on Varian could save her. The king heard about human medicine and wanted to try anything to save his child. Lucas could not say no. He packed his medical bag and took the fastest ship he could find. The journey was long and hard. He was alone in the dark between the stars, thinking about what he would find. He hoped he could help, but he was also scared. What if he made a mistake? What if the aliens were angry with him? When Lucas reached the city, he was met by two guards. They did not look like humans. Their skin was pale blue and their eyes were silver. They watched Lucas closely, but did not speak much. One guard pointed to a small vehicle. Lucas climbed in, holding his bag tight. The ride to the palace was quiet. Lucas stared out the window at the strange buildings and the wide, clean streets. He saw aliens of all colors and shapes walking around. Some stopped and stared at him, the only human they had ever seen. The palace was big and bright. Light shone on white stone walls. The doors opened with a soft sound, and Lucas was led inside. The king was waiting in a large room. He looked sad and worried. His robe was heavy and shining, but his eyes showed fear. Next to him stood a woman, her skin a soft pale purple. She was the queen. She did not smile, but she nodded when Lucas walked in. The king spoke in a slow, deep voice. He thanked Lucas for coming. Lucas bowed his head and said he would try his best. The king led him to another room where the princess was resting. She was young, maybe the same age as Lucas. Her hair was silver and long, and her face was beautiful. But tired, she looked up at Lucas with big, scared eyes. She had a deep wound on her side. Lucas could see that she was in pain. He set his bag down and started to work. He cleaned the wound first. The alien blood was a light blue color and moved slowly. Lucas used gentle hands and spoke softly, telling the princess not to be afraid. He took out his tools and began to fix the wound. The room was silent, except for his quiet voice and the sounds of his tools. The queen watched from the corner, and the king stood by the door, holding his breath. The work was not easy. The princess's body was not like a human's. Lucas had to guess at some things, using what he knew about medicine and what he saw in front of him. He worked for a long time, his hands moving quickly but carefully. When he finished, he looked at the princess and saw that she was breathing easier. Her pain was less, and she even tried to smile at him. The king and queen thanked Lucas again. And again, Lucas felt tired but happy. He had come a long way to help someone he did not know. Now he had saved a life. The king offered Lucas a room in the palace so he could rest. Lucas followed a servant to a quiet room with soft lights and a big bed. He sat down and looked out the window at the alien city. He felt alone but proud. He did not know what would happen next, but he knew he had done something good. As Lucas closed his eyes, he did not see the small group of people watching from the shadows. In the palace, not everyone was happy that a human had come to Varian. The story was just beginning. Lucas woke up early the next morning, feeling a little lost in the quiet room. The palace was so different from his small apartment on Earth. The bed was softer than anything he had slept on before, and the air smelled faintly sweet, almost like flowers. He stretched, then remembered where he was and why he had come. Quickly, he washed his face, put on his clean shirt, and grabbed his medical bag. He wanted to check on the princess right away. As Lucas walked through the halls, he passed servants and guards. Some of them stared at him, but others looked away. He wondered if they trusted him or if they were still afraid of humans. He tried to smile and nod at everyone he saw. Finally, a servant led him to the princess's room. The princess was awake and sitting up in bed. Her silver hair glowed in the sunlight, and her skin looked a little less pale than before. She smiled when she saw Lucas and thanked him in a quiet voice. Lucas sat beside her and checked the wound. It was healing slowly, but it looked much better. He cleaned the bandage and gave her some medicine to help with the pain. As he worked, the princess watched him closely. She asked Lucas questions about Earth. She wanted to know what it was like, and if the people there were kind. Lucas told her about the forests, the oceans, and the cities full of lights. He tried to make her laugh with stories about his friends back home. The princess listened carefully, and for the first time, she looked happy. After a while, the king entered the room. He thanked Lucas again and asked about his daughter's health. Lucas explained everything simply, so the king could understand. The king seemed relieved, and he placed a gentle hand on his daughter's shoulder. The queen joined them too. She brought a special drink from their world and offered some to Lucas. It tasted sweet and cool, and Lucas smiled politely as he drank it. Later, the king asked Lucas to walk with him in the palace gardens. Lucas agreed. The gardens were huge and full of strange plants and bright flowers. Some glowed softly, and others made gentle music when the wind blew through their leaves. The king spoke about his worries. He was thankful for Lucas's help, but explained that some people in the city did not trust humans. Many aliens were afraid because of old stories and misunderstandings. Lucas promised that he only wanted to help. He hoped that saving the princess would help everyone see that humans could be friends. As they walked, Lucas noticed two guards watching him from a distance. He wondered if they were protecting the king or making sure Lucas did not cause trouble. He tried not to let it bother him. The king stopped by a large tree and told Lucas that the princess was very important to their people. She was more than just his daughter. She was a symbol of hope. If she got better, maybe peace would come to Varian. That evening, Lucas returned to his room. He looked out at the city as night fell. The lights of the alien buildings glowed in many colors. He saw small flying ships moving through the air. He wondered what life was like for the people of Varian. Would they ever accept him? He missed home, but he knew he had a job to do. Later, Lucas heard a soft knock at his door. He opened it to see a young alien girl with pale blue skin. She was carrying a small box. She introduced herself as Mira and said she was a helper in the palace. Myra explained that she wanted to thank Lucas for saving the princess. She handed him the box, which held some fruit from Varian. Lucas smiled and thanked her. Myra asked if she could visit the princess. Lucas promised to ask the king and queen for her. After Mira left, Lucas sat on the bed, thinking about everything that had happened. He knew some people in the palace liked him, but others did not. He decided to do his best, not just for the princess, but for everyone. He wanted to show that humans could be good and kind. As he closed his eyes that night, he did not know that someone in the palace was watching him closely, planning something that could change everything. Lucas was in the middle of something much bigger than he understood. Lucas woke up in the middle of the night to a strange noise outside his room. At first, he thought he was dreaming, but then he heard it again. It was like a soft tapping on the door. He got out of bed and moved quietly, feeling a little afraid. When he opened the door, he saw Mira standing there. She looked worried and whispered for Lucas to follow her. Lucas put on his shoes, grabbed his medical bag, and followed Mira down the empty halls. The palace was quiet and dark, with only a few lights glowing softly. Mira led Lucas through a side door and out into the garden. She said that someone was in trouble, but she could not say who. Lucas trusted her, so he hurried along the winding path. They reached a small hidden room near the edge of the gardens. Inside, Lucas found one of the palace guards sitting on the floor, holding his arm. The guard's face was pale, and his breathing was heavy. Mira explained that the guard had fallen from a high ledge while checking the walls for safety. Lucas quickly opened his bag and knelt beside the guard. He spoke gently and told the guard he would help. The guard did not trust Lucas at first, but Myra told him that Lucas had saved the princess. The guard slowly nodded, allowing Lucas to look at the wound. The arm was broken, and there was blood. Lucas cleaned the cut, made a splint, and wrapped the arm with care. He explained every step so the guard would not be afraid. When he was done, the guard thanked Lucas with a quiet voice. Myra smiled at Lucas and told him that he had done well. She helped the guard stand up, and they promised to keep the secret. Myra explained that not everyone wanted humans to look like heroes. If some people in the palace found out, they might be angry. Lucas felt a heavy weight in his chest. He just wanted to help, but he did not want to cause trouble. He told Mira he would be careful. After helping the guard, Lucas walked back through the gardens. He looked up at the stars and thought about Earth. He remembered his mother's words about always doing the right thing, even when it was hard. Lucas knew that helping others was important, even if some people did not understand. When he reached his room, he was tired but proud. He hoped that soon people would trust him more. The next day, the palace was busy. News spread that the princess was feeling better. Many people came to see her, bringing gifts and good wishes. Lucas was happy to see the princess sitting up, smiling and talking with visitors. The king and queen looked proud and grateful. Lucas checked her wound and saw that it was healing very well. The princess told Lucas she wanted to walk in the garden. Lucas walked beside her, and they talked about the stars and other planets. The princess asked Lucas about his family and his home. Lucas told her stories about Earth, and she listened with wide eyes. While they walked, some people watched them from a distance. Some looked happy, but others looked angry or afraid. Lucas tried not to notice, but he could feel their eyes on him. The princess told Lucas that not everyone was happy he was there. She said some people believed old stories about humans being dangerous. Lucas promised her he would always do his best to show kindness and care. Later that afternoon, the king invited Lucas to a meeting with important people from the city. The meeting was in a big, bright room with high windows. Many leaders sat at a long table. They wanted to thank Lucas, but they also asked many questions. Some asked if humans wanted to take over Varian. Others wondered if Lucas would bring more humans in the future. Lucas answered every question with honesty. He said he only wanted to help, and he had come alone because he cared about life, no matter where it was. From at the end of the meeting, one of the leaders stood up and thanked Lucas for saving the princess. A few others clapped quietly, but some did not look happy. Lucas left the room feeling a little unsure. He wondered if he could ever change their minds. As the sun set, Lucas sat alone in his room. He thought about everything that had happened. He hoped he could bring hope to Varian, but he also knew the future would not be easy. As he drifted to sleep, Lucas did not know that trouble was already growing in the shadows of the palace. Lucas woke up early to the sound of voices outside his room. He listened and heard people moving quickly in the halls. Something felt different this morning. Lucas got up and dressed quietly. He looked out the window and saw a group of palace guards speaking to each other in low voices. Their faces were serious, and some looked worried. Lucas grabbed his medical bag and opened the door, wanting to see what was happening. A servant hurried past Lucas and told him the king wanted to see him in the main hall. Lucas followed the servant, feeling nervous. The hall was full of important people from the palace. The king and queen sat at the front, their faces calm but tense. The princess was there too, sitting in a special chair. She smiled when she saw Lucas, but her smile was small. The king stood and spoke to everyone. He thanked Lucas for saving his daughter and helping the palace guard. The room became quiet as everyone listened. The king explained that there were problems in the city. Some people were angry that a human had come to Varian. They believed old stories about humans bringing danger. There were protests outside the palace gates, and the guards were worried about keeping everyone safe. The king said Lucas had done nothing wrong. He asked the people to trust Lucas and give him a chance. The queen spoke too, saying that Lucas had shown kindness and skill. She told the people to look at the princess, who was alive because of Lucas's care. Some people in the hall agreed with the king. They said Lucas was brave and good, but others did not look happy. A tall man stood up and spoke against Lucas. He said humans were not to be trusted and that they might be planning something bad. The room grew tense. Lucas listened carefully, waiting for his turn to speak. When the king asked him to speak, Lucas walked to the front of the hall. He spoke slowly and used simple words. He told everyone why he had come to Varian. He said he wanted to help, not to hurt anyone. Lucas told them about his home on Earth and his work as a medic. He promised that he would never harm Varian or its people. The princess stood up next to Lucas. She spoke to everyone with a soft but strong voice. She told them that Lucas had saved her life and treated her like a friend. She said she trusted him and asked the people to do the same. The room was quiet. Some people looked moved, but others looked away. The meeting ended, and the king thanked Lucas and the princess. Lucas left the hall with the princess. She thanked him for his words and for standing with her. Later, Lucas walked in the palace gardens to clear his mind. The flowers and trees made him feel calm. As he walked, Myra found him and handed him a small note. She whispered that it was from one of the city's leaders. The note asked Lucas to meet in a quiet part of the palace that evening. Lucas was curious and a little worried, but he agreed. When evening came, Lucas walked to the meeting place. It was a small room near the edge of the palace. Inside, a group of people waited for him. One of them was the leader who had sent the note. He introduced himself as Ethan. Ethan explained that not everyone hated humans. Some people wanted peace and believed Lucas could help. They asked Lucas if he would talk to more people in the city and show them he was kind. Lucas agreed, hoping he could make a difference. For the next few days, Lucas worked hard. He visited hospitals and helped the sick. He taught doctors new ways to care for patients. He talked to children in schools and answered their questions about Earth. Some people listened and smiled. Others still did not trust him. But little by little, more people started to believe that Lucas was good. One afternoon, as Lucas walked through a crowded market with the princess and Mira, a loud noise suddenly filled the air. A group of angry people began shouting at Lucas, calling him names and throwing small stones. The princess stepped in front of Lucas, telling the crowd to stop. Guards rushed to protect him. Lucas felt scared, but he did not run. He stood beside the princess, showing he was not afraid. After a while, the crowd left, and the princess thanked Lucas for his bravery. That night, Lucas sat alone and thought about everything that had happened. He wondered if he would ever be fully accepted. But he remembered the people who had smiled at him and the lives he had helped. Lucas knew he could not give up. He wanted to bring peace and hope to Varian, no matter how hard it was. Lucas woke up the next morning feeling both tired and hopeful. The sun was bright over Varian, and the city looked peaceful from his window. He knew the days ahead would not be easy, but he was ready to try. After eating a small breakfast, Lucas made his way to the hospital with the princess and Mira. They walked together through the busy streets. Some people greeted them with small nods. Others looked away or whispered, but Lucas kept his head high at the hospital. Lucas spent the morning teaching the alien doctors about human medicine. He showed them how to use simple tools and how to clean wounds carefully. The doctors were curious and asked many questions. Lucas was patient, answering every question and smiling often. He could see that some of the doctors wanted to learn from him. The princess watched with pride as Lucas helped everyone. Later, a young alien boy was brought into the hospital. He was hurt and crying. The doctors did not know what to do, so they called Lucas. Lucas knelt beside the boy, spoke softly to him, and began to help. He cleaned the boy's wounds and wrapped his arm in a soft bandage. The boy stopped crying and looked at Lucas with big eyes. The boy's mother thanked Lucas with tears in her eyes. More people in the hospital started to trust Lucas after that. They saw that he cared about everyone, not just the princes. That afternoon, Lucas visited the school with Myra and the princess. The children were excited and asked many questions about Earth and humans. Lucas told them about animals, plants, and how people live together. He explained that people on Earth also argued sometimes, but most wanted peace. The children listened carefully, and some even laughed at his jokes. Lucas gave them small stickers from Earth as gifts, and the children cheered. Myra smiled and said Lucas was making new friends. When Lucas returned to the palace, he found the king and queen waiting for him. The king looked worried. He said that some leaders in the city were planning a meeting to decide if Lucas could stay or must leave. Varian. The king wanted Lucas to speak at the meeting and share his story. Lucas felt nervous, but he agreed. The queen told him not to be afraid and that the princess would speak with him. That evening, Lucas sat in his room, thinking about what to say. He wanted to help Varian and show the people he was not a danger. As he wrote his speech, he remembered the people he had helped and the smiles he had seen. He wanted everyone to understand that kindness was the most important thing, no matter where you came from. The next day, the meeting was held in a large hall in the city. Many people filled the room. Some had come to support Lucas, while others looked angry and afraid. The king spoke first, thanking Lucas for saving the princess and helping Varian. Then the princess stood beside Lucas and talked about his bravery and kindness. She said Lucas had saved her life and helped many others. The people listened quietly. Now it was Lucas's turn. He stood up and spoke in a clear, calm voice. He told the people about his life on Earth and why he became a medic. He shared stories of helping others, both humans and aliens. He told them he did not come to Varian to take anything, only to help. Lucas said he wanted to be their friend, not their enemy. He finished by saying that all people, no matter where they are from, have the power to do good. For a long moment, the room was silent. Then slowly, some people began to clap. Others nodded their heads. A few still looked unhappy, but most seemed moved by Lucas's words. The meeting ended, and the king thanked everyone. The princess hugged Lucas and told him he had done well. Lucas felt proud but also tired. He hoped that things would get better now. That night, as Lucas sat alone in the palace garden, Mira joined him. She told Lucas she was glad he had come to Varian. She said he had changed many lives and brought hope to the city. Lucas smiled and thanked Mira for her friendship. As they looked up at the stars, Lucas felt a sense of peace. He knew there would still be challenges ahead, but he was not alone anymore. He had friends and hope in his heart. The days passed slowly as Lucas worked to help more people in Varian. Each morning, he woke up early and walked through the palace halls with his medical bag. He greeted everyone he met, even if some of them still looked at him with worry. Lucas always tried to show kindness, hoping to change their hearts one person at a time. One day, the king called Lucas to his study. The king's face was serious. He explained that a new group had arrived in the city, claiming to be friends of Varian. They were from another planet, and they brought gifts and promises of help. But the king did not trust them. He asked Lucas to meet these visitors and share his thoughts. Lucas met the new arrivals in a large hall. They were tall and dressed in bright clothes. Their leader, a man named Kalen, smiled and spoke politely. Kalen told the people of Varian that his group could help them heal the sick and teach new ways to build things. Some people were excited, but others were unsure. Lucas watched and listened. He noticed that the visitors asked many questions about the city, the palace, and the people. Lucas felt uneasy but tried to hide it. Later, he spoke with Kalen alone. Lucas asked why Kalen wanted to help Varian. Kalen smiled and said he cared about peace. But his eyes were cold, and Lucas did not feel comfortable. That night, Lucas met with the king and queen. He told them his worries. He said the visitors might not be honest. The king agreed. He asked Lucas to be careful and to watch Kalen and his group. Lucas promised he would. The next day, trouble started. Some of the visitors tried to enter places in the palace where they were not allowed. A guard caught them, and they made excuses. Later, important things began to disappear from the palace. People grew more worried. The king called a meeting. He spoke to everyone, asking them to stay calm. Lucas stood by the princess and Mira. He told them to be careful and stay together. That evening, Lucas saw Kalen talking to some of the unhappy people from the city. They spoke in low voices and looked around often. Lucas felt sure that Kalen was planning something bad. He decided to follow them, staying quiet and hidden in the shadows. He listened to Kalen promise the angry people power and riches if they helped him. Lucas realized Kalen wanted to take control of Varian. Lucas ran back to the palace and told the king everything. The king was upset but thanked Lucas for being brave. He called the guards and made a plan to stop Kalen. Lucas felt scared but knew he had to help. He told the princess and Mira to stay in a safe room until the danger was over. The next day, the visitors tried to take over the palace. They worked with the angry people from the city and rushed through the halls. The guards were ready, and a fight broke out. Lucas stayed close to the princess and Myra, helping anyone who got hurt. He moved quickly, wrapping wounds and calming people. The princess helped by talking to frightened people and giving hope. After a long and scary time, the king's guards won the fight. Kalen and his group were captured and taken away. The people who had helped Kalen said they were sorry. The king forgave some, but others had to leave the city. The palace was safe again, but everyone was tired and sad. Lucas hugged the princess and Myra, glad they were safe. Later, the king spoke to everyone in the city. He thanked Lucas for saving Varian and for his courage. The people clapped and cheered for Lucas. The princess smiled at him, and Mira gave him a small flower. Lucas felt proud but humble. He told the people that together they could keep Varian safe. He said he would stay as long as they needed him. That night, as Lucas looked at the stars, he knew he had truly found a new home. The days after the trouble in Varian felt peaceful and bright. People in the city worked together to repair the palace and the streets. Flowers bloomed in the gardens, and children played in the open spaces again. Lucas felt proud to see smiles on people's faces. Every morning, he walked through the city with Myra and the princess. More people greeted him now. Some even stopped to thank him for his help. Lucas always smiled back, happy to be part of their world. One day, the king invited Lucas to a special dinner in the palace. The great hall was full of light and laughter. People from all over Varian were there to celebrate. The king stood up and spoke to everyone. He thanked Lucas for saving his daughter, for protecting Varian, and for teaching everyone about kindness and hope. The queen spoke next. She said Lucas had shown the people of Varian that humans could be friends and not just strangers from far away. The princess stood up beside Lucas. She spoke with a warm and proud voice. She thanked Lucas for his care and friendship. She told everyone that Lucas had not only saved her life, but had changed the future of Varian. Many people clapped and cheered. Lucas felt shy but happy. He thanked everyone for welcoming him into their home and promised to help Varian as long as he could. After the dinner, Lucas walked with the princess in the garden. The night was quiet, and the stars were bright. The princess asked Lucas if he missed Earth. Lucas thought for a moment. He told her that he sometimes missed his family and the place where he grew up. But he said Varian had become his home too. The princess smiled and said that Lucas would always have a place with her and her people. In the weeks that followed, Lucas started new projects. He helped build a new hospital for the city. He taught more doctors and nurses how to care for all kinds of people, no matter where they were from. Mira helped him by organizing lessons and making everyone feel welcome. The princess visited the hospital often, talking to patients and making them feel safe. Together, they made the city a kinder place. One day, Lucas visited a small school. On the edge of Varian, the children ran up to him, eager to share their stories. Lucas listened to each one, smiling and asking questions. He brought books and small gifts from Earth. The children laughed and played, showing Lucas their drawings of spaceships and stars. Lucas realized how much hope he had brought to Varian. He felt proud of his work and grateful for his friends. As time passed, people from other worlds heard about what had happened in Varian. Some sent messages of peace and friendship. Others came to visit and learn from Lucas and the people of Varian. The city became a place where everyone was welcome. Old fears slowly disappeared, and trust grew in their place. Lucas felt happy to see so many people working together for a better future. One evening, the king called Lucas to his study. He thanked Lucas again for everything he had done. He said that Varian was now a place of hope and peace because of Lucas's kindness and courage. The king told Lucas he would always be part of Varian's family. Lucas felt moved and promised to stay as long as he was needed. That night, Lucas sat in the garden and looked at the stars. The princess joined him, and they talked about dreams for the future. Lucas said he hoped Varian would stay peaceful and that more people would visit and learn from them. The princess said she hoped Lucas would always stay by her side. Lucas closed his eyes and thought about his journey. He remembered how scared and alone he had felt when he first came to Varian. Now he felt strong, loved, and proud. He had saved lives, made friends, and helped build a better world. Lucas knew his story was not over, but he was ready for whatever would come next. He looked at the stars and smiled, knowing he had truly found his place among them.